Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today we are looking at the Cvj Csk. This is their budget offering. We did recently do the Cvj Cse, and now they've come out with this one. You can see this is the alternative color. I don't have this one. It's a blue and a purple. Let's look at some of the specs here. So we have 3.5 millimeter connection, 0.75 millimeter 2-pin connector. Cord length is 1.2 meters. Sensitivity is 108 decibels, and it's 22 ohms and 10 to 40 kilohertz, as opposed to the other one, which is basically the same specs. Exactly. And of course, inside the box, you get the standard things that you get inside the box. The IMs aren't in here, but you get all your tips right off in the bat. You pull this off, you get your pouch, and inside that pouch is your cable, which we'll show in just a minute. Let me put that back for now. The IMs have been tested, they're out. We wrote a review for them already. Usually I like to do the video first, because then when I write the review I can include the video down at the bottom. Now I'll have to go back and add that, but not really a big deal. So there's some preformed hooks. The cable is obviously thinner here at this point. That plastic Y splitter there, no slider. Cable tie. Angled termination. It's all rubberized plastic. The cable's okay. It's not the worst cable. It's not like early KZ quality cable. Matter of fact, it's better than probably KZ quality right now, although they have come a long way in the cables. It's not a bad cable. It's not anywhere near a replacement quality cable, but come on now, at this price range, I'm not expecting that much. So you get your tips, your pouch, your cable. I'm going to look at the IM. I got the black version here. There have been some glue issues with the black version, from what I've told. So just make sure that the inside is the filter is actually stable and on there. Give it a couple of whacks. Should be good. The ones that I had, perfect. They didn't have any QC issues. I did with this pair, but this pair was fine. Shiny black, it's going to attract fingerprints. So it's a plastic nozzle with a metal shower head filter. Kind of gets wider right at that point. So I don't know how putting on the tips are. Should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, they go on decent enough. These are decent tips. These are like TRN style, KB Air style tips. Left and right, instead of being on the back, it's on the front. I don't know if people are going to like that or not. That's up to you. I really don't mind. I actually like the shape of these, whereas I like the sound of these, and I find maybe if I had gotten the green I would have liked it better. I didn't like the way they looked in the black with the lines. It just, I don't know, something about the aesthetic. This angled aesthetic is pretty good. I don't mind it that much. Very comfortable. They're ergonomically shaped. They're larger and angled, but they actually fit in the ear quite well. I wouldn't exactly use these for sleeping, but they're a decent comfort level. So given that, yeah, they're comfortable. I do like the design. I think that they're really pretty in that color. I would have actually rather had that color, but they got a nice shape to them. They're comfortable. Build quality, I mean, obviously they're lightweight, they're resin, plastic, or whatever. Markings. Professional hi-fi. Now, we're going to get into the sound. These are kind of controversial right now because there are so many people that really enjoy the bass. These have some really strong, somewhat, decent quality bass. When you first get them, um, at least me and a few other people, when you first get them, the bass is loose, it's sloppy, it's all over the place. After a little while, don't know if it's burning or, just the parts getting better over a certain period of time, then you notice that the bass is more controlled. It is still very, very powerful bass. Actually, I'm trying to look at my notes here. I have notes up here. I should actually be reading them. So there's a powerful bass slam, especially sub bass. Mid bass is very powerful as well. It's rapid. It's got a decent punch to it. And the bass has some decent details there. There's some really good texture and quality in the bass. It tends to bleed into the mids, giving this an overall warmth. And of course, this being a V shape and a pretty standard V shape, it does have a recession in the mids. The mids are warm, they're recessed, but they're not overly that bad. They have a clarity to them. There's some, sufficient details there. Vocals do sound good. They sound warm. They're pleasant. They're a tad bit on the thin side, but they're decent enough mids considering the price of this and everything. But overall, there's just something lacking there for my taste. Then we get into the treble. And the treble is kind of on the relaxed side. It does have a very fast roll off. It hits kind of sometimes the sparkle point where there's some detail there. But it's overall, it's a polite treble. At times, I did notice like cymbals and stuff were a little splashy. Not the greatest in the treble department, that's for sure. Soundstage is kind of different on this. It's not overly wide, but it's deep. It does have a very deep, immersive quality to it, but it isn't overly wide. It's kind of at the boundaries of your ears and head, which makes things like kind of weird. Like last night I was listening to a song and there was a part where one of the guys say something in the song and I was just about falling asleep and it sounded like he was like saying it right off the side in my ear instead of in front of me. Kind of freaked me out a little. It's an odd soundstage, but it's not a horrible soundstage. And imaging is average with this. It's not an imaging machine. It's just an average imaging. You get some details there, some positioning. It's not the best at that. So, in conclusion, my opinion, now, like I said, some people actually love this. They love that bass. They love the wide, not really the wide, but the deep sound stage. They love the the mids come across pretty good. They have some emotion there. They're definitely pleasant enough. The treble being relaxed is good because it never seems to get harsh or shouty. And so it's not the worst IM I've ever used. I think a lot of people are going to find this to be actually a fun IM. That said, now I know it's going to have its fans. That said, for me, this doesn't really cut it. To be quite honest, I think that this was actually better sounding because this was normally tuned. This was, had average tuning. It was, a safe tuning, a safe V shape, and it had all the characters of a V shape that you would expect. Whereas this is just kind of hard to pin down because it's different. It really is a different tuning, and I think that may attract a lot of people to it. Whereas for me, I don't hate it. I just out of the dozens. I mean, I got two more that are in the same price range from TRN coming up that I have to test, and I gave them a basic listening, and now I'm going to get into the heavy testing with those two. And quite honestly, I think that they sound better than this already off the bat, even though I've had a long time listening with this. But I see that has an interesting tuning to it. It is a V shape. It has some very impressive bass. Um, the soundstage isn't horrible by any means. I'm just not used to something deeper than it's wide. It's usually the opposite. It's wider than it's deep. So I don't know. It could just be my pair. I only have one pair. I can see if I can get another pair, and then I'll do a follow-up video if I do get another pair. But for now, it's just interesting. Um, Maybe with some mods, if I change out the tips and the cable and stuff, maybe it will change the way I feel about it. I am going to do that. I'm going to put these aside, and when I get time, I'll end up getting to that. Still got a bunch of things to do here. I want to do a follow-up video on the IDSD and get into more into depth with the sound of it. And I also got a tube amp here that I have to do. And we also have to do the Anandas, which are sitting up there, which I haven't. And I apologize, I've been sick for about 2 weeks. This is the first week now where I'm feeling a little bit better. And I can get on with resuming. It's kind of tough to listen to music when you're sick, or at least for me. I just don't really feel like doing much other than resting and eating hot foods and hot liquids. So we're back on track, and we had a long time testing this. And I had to retest it because I forgot exactly, the points that I wanted to make with the sound. So, all right, you get, a decent amount of accessories. You get a pouch. You don't get that with a lot of KZ or any of the products. So you get some decent products. You get this packaging here, which is the new packaging. I do miss the wooden boxes, but I can understand why they switched over. It's more cost effective and more environmentally friendly. So that said, I like the shape. I like the comfort. The sound could grow on me. I'm not sure. But after many hours of listening, it's not really to my liking, to be quite honest. And I do like bass and V shapes. This one just is a little odd to me. Maybe it's my pair. I don't know. I can't say for certain unless I get a second pair, which I'm working on right now. But for now, I can't not recommend, and I can't recommend it because it's just weird. It's weird, okay? I said it. Cvj Csk. If these points sound like something that you like, go out and try it. I mean, it's very cheap. It's not like it's going to be, break the bank. But for me, not my favorite pair so far out of the ones that I've heard. It's far from the worst pair. I can't remember. I've had at least 3 pairs where I just absolutely hated them. And I honestly can't remember which ones they are. They're actually in a box in the corner. I got a big box one of these days I'm going to get rid of with a whole bunch of different IMs in it. There's going to be at least 40 in there. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll leave it at that. So I'll leave it at that. Cvj Csk, an interesting IM. Thank you so much for watching, and please be safe.